welcome to the Burn Boot Camp podcast. I'm Anne's your guest host for today for this transformation story. It's a really special story. It's about coming back. It's about not being counted out. And I think it's really inspirational. And I'm excited for you to meet Holly. Welcome to the podcast, Holly LaMonica from Tega Cay. So excited to have you here.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Yes. But okay, so I want to talk to you about your location in Tega Cay. We've actually had another transformation story from Tega Cay, from Tabitha, who was just fabulous, and she could not speak more highly of your location. Talk to me about what the vibe is at Tega Cay. Why is it so special?
Tega Cay is not just a gym, it is a family. Like, it is such a family. We have a sister gym, we have group outings. Our owner, Bridget, is next level. She's involved in every aspect of everything we do, and it's just remarkable.
Yeah. It really is. Once you find a community that, kind of gets you, it's like nothing else. I mean, it really truly is that third place. And it becomes such an important part of your life. Yeah. It sounds like it's a really special place. Well, that's awesome. Well, before we get into your really cool story, and your story is really truly is so inspirational, and it starts with how we normally see our members come in with wanting to change their bodies. And it ends in such a much more impactful and emotional and mental place. It just changes you inside and out, basically. So, but before we get into that story, tell me a little bit about fitness and nutrition for you growing up. Were you an athlete? Were you like me, a little bit of a nerd?
So I actually started doing gymnastics when I was 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
And got so competitive that my gym was an hour and a half one way just to get to it. And I was going to the gym for about 8 hours a day until I converted to cheerleading when I was in high school so that I could scholarship and go to college and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was remarkable. So it was a really big part of my whole life. I've never known anything different.
Yep. Yeah. So you were used to training, getting up at the crack of dawn, probably, dark 30, and working out. You were consistent, to say the least, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. It was second nature. I didn't know anything else.
Yeah. I
grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere, and there were other kids around.
Yeah.
So everything was a gym. All we did was play outside and do things outside and be active all the time.
Yeah. Yep. Those are the good old days. Well, that's really cool. That probably shaped your body image in a really serious way too. Talk to me about how gymnastics and cheer, like what specifically about those two sports. I've heard some interesting things about, how strong you need to be, and also, what your body needs to be able to do and look like, and all those good things.
Such a difficult conversation sometimes, because you're told you have to be small, but you have to be strong.
Yeah.
And it's so difficult because, growing up in the 80s, we didn't know what we know now about nutrition and how it works and what you eat and how you fuel your body to be able to have both of those things.
Yeah.
And that was just not something we knew. And I was blessed that I got to eat farm to table all the time, but we didn't even know that was good for us. So it's just so different. But I just remember always feeling the pressure to not be big, to not be heavy, and to always do something. So even there isn't an off season in gymnastics, but even if there was off time, I would find myself doing something active, because if I had even gained an inch, and I didn't know the difference between it being muscle or being weight.
Sure, right.
It was just, you couldn't be any bigger.
Yeah. And literally light. Yeah. I can imagine how that would be kind of a mental struggle as well. And just, nailing things and landing things and getting the score. And I'm sure that was probably a mental journey for you also.
Absolutely. In full disclosure, all it did was make me extremely dedicated and strong, which is probably why I love Burn so much, because I have that drive and that push from always being forced to be the best, even if you weren't going to ever be the best, you were always told to go for it.
Yeah.
So pretty intense programs.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, it set you up for some challenges, and we'll get into your story. Talk to me about last year and what led you to get the courage to walk through the doors at Tega Cay.
So about over 7 years ago when they first opened, I went to Burn, and I never left, but I physically left. Mentally, I always loved them and I wanted to be there. But I had some massive knee surgeries that I had to go through. Yep. My first one, Burn was amazing to me. They would make little Post-it notes because I couldn't do protocol. And I would be able to go into camp, and they would have already made me a Post-it note for my camp time because they knew that was the camp that I would normally go to. And they'd be like, this is what you can do because you're not capable of doing it. And that just speaks volumes. Yeah. Volume. Because you're already terrified to walk in the door when you're not capable. Mm-hmm. And it's so self-damaging when you expect that from yourself and then you can't do it. So when somebody else gives you something you can do, it's like they already knew that that's what you needed. Yeah. My second surgery was the one that was like the fall of Rome, I would say. It kept getting delayed because it was right at COVID. I needed it right at the beginning of COVID. Yep. And I had it. It will be 2 years in March, so 2 years next month. Wow. And I was bedridden for 7 weeks, not allowed to walk. I listened for maybe 5. But then I gained 30 to 35 pounds, and then I didn't love myself anymore. Yeah. And I was using it as a crutch, and I was just saying, this injury will never allow me to move forward. I'll never be better. I'll never get to do this. I'll never get to do that. And I was using it as an excuse almost. And that October, they told me that I was approved for a knee replacement. And I said, I am 38 years old and I'm not doing it. Wow. So I mustered up the courage and I walked back into Burn. And it was scarier than the first time I ever walked in because I was like, maybe they'll remember me. Maybe they won't. Yeah. Maybe I look so different. Maybe I'm not the same. Maybe they're going to be like, how did that girl let that happen to her? And they didn't. They embraced me. They loved me. They welcomed me. They supported me, and they still gave me the modifications I needed and asked me what my goals were, and they got me beyond them. Yeah. And still to this day, I modify everything, and I'm the strongest I've ever been in my entire life. Ugh. It's just remarkable that someone could see how much I started to hate myself. Yeah. I was near depression. I didn't love myself anymore, and Burn literally changed that for me.
I can imagine how difficult that is to go from being so active and so strong and such an athlete to being really powerless and sort of feeling out of control and not feeling like yourself. And then figuring out how to start over. I mean, finding that confidence again, I'm sure was a really serious challenge. That's incredible that you were able to walk through that door. I know that your community probably supported you in every aspect and helping, those modifications. I think we all have such stuff attached to modding down. And at Burn, it's a really important stepping stone. I see people fully embracing, hey, I don't feel great today, so I'm modding down. I've got this injury I want to rehab and I want to be responsible with. I'm modding down. And I think that that's just an amazing part of our culture that there's really no shame in that at all. And I think it speaks to how strong you are that you were able to listen to your body and do the right things so that you could recover well.
Yeah, it's remarkable. I will say, when you talk about the community and the accountability, I have an accountability partner. I advise anybody who ever goes to have an accountability partner. Yep. Because you can make excuses for yourself, but me as a human, I couldn't make them for her. And so Carmen and I, we almost modify our lives to be able to go together every day. And she basically got me back on the track of being able to walk in those doors and have that strength, and then to have the trainer be willing, even when I'm not willing to sacrifice doing something, they're telling me, like, this is what you should do and you'll get the same outcomes.
Yep. Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and I see muscle, and then I'm like, but I can modify down and it's okay.
Yeah.
It does not change my value. It doesn't change my result.
Yep.
I will get there. It is a marathon, not a race. You'll get there.
Yep. Yep. Well said. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And you really are, we go through these seasons in our lives where we have to sort of repattern our relationship to our bodies and what, how they change, whether we're getting older, going through an injury like you have. It's all a process and a dance of sort of giving yourself grace and just being consistent. Like you said, not giving up. You just don't quit. You just go back every single day and you show up. And that's just the most important part. And it sounds like you really have that.
Self-love is so important. And it's just something that I don't think we give ourselves the grace that we give others.
Yep.
And I just finally love myself again. And that's just a gift I couldn't have given myself, Yeah.
Yeah. It's easy to let that get away from you because, as we do, we have kids and careers and marriages and friends and family and appointments and play dates and all the things. And you're just the engine that runs that. And you don't necessarily take care of yourself enough, probably, in certain situations. And I think it's a hamster wheel that we can all find ourselves on, and it's really important to check up and take care of ourselves. And I think that there's no better place than Burn, and it sounds like Tega Cay, to really get that check. That motherhood isn't about misery and martyrdom. It's about being the best version of yourself so that your kids see someone that they want to emulate. And I know you have little ones. I'm sure that they see mom just like building that strength and going for it and recovering and not giving up. That must mean the world.
It does. It is. It's amazing. Last night I leaned over to kiss my son in bed and I was like, oh, I'm so stiff because I also play softball and pickleball. We had a softball game on Sunday and my body was not ready for it. It was the first game of the season and I bent over and I was like, just hug me up here. And he was like, I know you're so strong. You'll be fine. Your body will recover. You've got this. You go to the gym every day. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. My
kids were raised in that gym. They see it and they go. When we have family workout days, they're running in there and they're doing it. And I think it's really a good way to show them, how to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And that it's worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it provides a powerful perspective for little guys and girls to know that, mom's super strong. And, especially for our daughters, I always say if I were going to build a gym for my daughter, Burn Boot Camp would be it. It just represents all the best things about, picking up a heavy weight, taking up space, putting yourself first so that you can better take care of the people that you love in your community and show up for them in a better way. So I think it's great too.
It provides a level of sanity.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That community, I've said it before, community is sanity. And you've got to have that place where people know you outside of work and outside of your family and friends. It's that support. And it's like, like your accountability partner, they're counting on you to show up and push them too. And that's a powerful, powerful thing. Well, okay, Holly, so I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Ooh, let's go.
Yeah. Okay, so favorite protocol?
Oh, goodness. So everybody knows arm day is my favorite. because I can do it successfully.
Yes.
But as of late, my new favorite protocol has become burst training, because I get to give it all for 30 seconds and breathe for 15.
Yes.
And that's just like how I feel like every day of life is. Get it all and breathe for a minute. I'll breathe for a minute. And I'm just like, loved that perspective of how I release it all and get to breathe and go do it again.
And then recover and get right back at it. Our on-demand has burst training with DK, and it is full on. And then it's like, oh my God, I have 15 seconds and then I got to go do this again. It's quite the challenge. Okay. Well, I still think it looks like arm day is still your favorite. If you're just listening, Holly's jacked. Okay. All right. Protocol that makes you go, oh hell, I don't want to do this.
Clearly leg day. Mostly because I feel like I'm not capable, but we just did the strength challenge. And I tell you, I had PR after PR, and it just was like, I don't know, it's not going to move up in my book, but it's still my least favorite.
Yeah. But you know you can do it. You know you can at least PR. Oh my gosh. That's great. That's great. Okay. Do you have any goals that you're trying to set on the floating floor in gym?
Woo. So when I started this journey in October, my goal was to get to, I'm not a numbers person for weight. My goal was just to get to a certain body fat percent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I started around 32. I am down to like 15.6.
Holly.
So my goal is to build muscle.
Yes.
I don't necessarily have a goal on the floor. I just want to be the strongest that I can be.
Right.
Just want to be strong.
Yep.
I don't even care what it feels like, and I don't care what the numbers are. I just want to be the strongest I can be.
Yep. That's so smart. I've heard trainers talk about build as much muscle as you can before you turn 50. You want to have as much lean muscle as you possibly can, because it's all downhill from there. So yeah, you're smart. It's really, truly, it is, you want to be able to pick up your grandkids and throw them in the air, and what you're doing is how you get there, for sure. Yeah. That's amazing. Feeling strong is underrated. I think that it's just knowing that, if I wanted to, I can do whatever it is that I need to do physically. It's a very empowering feeling.
I just feel like when you go in there and you find a way to love yourself again, no matter how you actually look, you're capable of doing things that you didn't think you could do. How great that is.
Yeah.
So I try not to make small goals. I try to make like, wow, I got there goals, like, oh, that happened. How great is, and I just, nobody looks the same. Nobody acts the same. We're just all there loving each other and loving what we're doing and feeling better and going home and being able to like breathe through the rest of the day because we release all our toxins. And that's where I'm at.
Yep. 45 minutes of endorphins and friends and some heavy weights. It will change your life.
Absolutely.
Well, that's great. That's great. Holly, thank you so much for your time today. This was so inspiring. And I think it's just so great what you provide for your location and the people that you're surrounded by, and to all of us in Burn Nation. We just very much appreciate you and your story of transformation. And that's, from the challenge of, really, really big setback with surgeries, all the way to, mental transformation where you're just, you feel strong and you feel good and you feel powerful. And that's what we're looking for. Well,
thank you.
I am going to, so I'm going to let you take us out. This is a surprise, podcast. I'm going to let you take us out with 2 claps on 2. So you lead me. Take it away.
2 claps on 2. 1, 2.
Nice, Holly. Thank you so much. Burn Nation, thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week with another transformation story. Send us your stories. If you've got something that you want to talk about on the podcast with us, podcast at burnbootcamp.com. Follow us on all our channels and like and subscribe and all those fun things. And we will see you next time.